What's going on, YouTube family? Welcome to Automotive Life and happy Friday. Today we're going to be discussing, is it a good time to sell your gasoline operated vehicle and switch to an EV? Now, as we know that necessity is the mother of invention. Perfect example, the 2020 pandemic. Now, when this happened, if you were to tell your boss a few years ago, hey, I want to work remote, I don't want to work from the office, I don't want to see any of your faces, people frowned upon it and they said, oh, you're just going to be lazy, it's going to go backwards in production, it's not going to be productive. And fast forward to 2021, 2022, people actually want to do it more and more often. People are more productive sometimes working from home. They don't have to worry about the stress of driving back and forth. They get to be closer to their families. They save money, and it winded up actually being more productive for a lot of companies because they could pay their people a few dollars more and not have to pay massive expenses for a large, beautiful office or anything like that. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this simile up is because we're right here to another necessity. Gas. Now, we all need gas in our cars to get around, but as gas is creeping up, in some places I know in California, it's already over $7. So people are starting to freak out like, is this the time to buy an electric vehicle? Now, I'm going to go over some of the things from a mechanic aspect, also from a dealer's aspect on if you should buy an electric vehicle. Now, I'm going to be totally honest, I do not like electric cars. I am pro-gas just because I enjoy certain things, the sound, the noise, the feeling of it, and everything else, but not to say that a lot of electric cars are very amazing. I drove the Lucid Air, the Tesla Plaid, even the Porsche Taycan. Beautiful cars, amazing things of technology, but nothing beats the sound of, a V10 or V12 screaming at 8,000 RPMs. But I digress. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the things you're going to need to know if you consider buying an electric vehicle. Now, I was actually shocked when I looked up a few videos online to see what people were talking about, and all they were talking about was like prices and all this other stuff. There's way more you have to consider. Like one of my favorite things, we ended up selling a Tesla to a young family. This was a few years ago when they came out, and they lived in an apartment complex. Now, the funny thing was they lived on the second story and there was nowhere to plug in their car. So they had to run a 110 extension from their second story balcony down to the parking lot and plug it into their Tesla so their Tesla would charge overnight. So what I'm going to tell you is if you're considering buying an electric car, no matter what it is, you need to see if you have 220 anywhere in your facility. Hopefully you live in a close place where you can actually hang out or hang your electrical receptor. If not, you need to make sure that your car is close enough where you can plug in your 110 extension and actually get it to the car. Now, I know a lot of people are like, well, there's supercharging and all this other stuff. That stuff is going away. I know that they were doing it free for a little while, but I keep hearing more and more rumors about them charging more and more and more. So free electric's not going to keep going. They're going to start charging more for that. Also, there's going to be a lot of companies, I think Volkswagen's behind the biggest one, I can't remember the name of it, but the Power Grid, and they're actually going to be setting up almost like gas stations all over the place where people can bring their cars and charge them, but they're going to start charging you money. So the days of, oh, it's cheaper and it's more accessible is going to be a little bit harder. But as of right now, it's very hard to find a place to charge your car. I just bought a 2013 Nissan Leaf from one of the title loan stores that we deal with, and I thought it was really cool as we were driving around town, but I tried to find a few superchargers in my area and I couldn't find any. And we're in Las Vegas, which is a very busy, very popular city, and it was hard for me to find different supercharging stations around that area. So if you live in a desolate area or something like that, those are some of the things that you should definitely consider. Now we're going to kind of go into the whole price with electric versus gas. Now, it's not simple math, so I'm not going to try to break out some formula to show you how it all works, but we're going to talk about, let's say, a Tesla. You out and you go buy a used Tesla for, let's say, $60,000, $70,000. This is a very expensive vehicle, but you're buying it with the thought in mind, well, I'm going to save a lot more money in gas. I'm not going to have to spend gas money. I'll just do electricity. Well, your electricity bill is probably going to go up a couple $100, which, at the scheme of things, no big deal. We'll just charge your car and then maybe go to a few public places where you get some free charging, especially casinos here in Vegas. So you're thinking, okay, it's not that bad. But let's say you were to buy a Toyota Corolla. Even with the inflated prices now, you can get a good one for about $20,000 to $30,000. So now you're at the $60,000 to $70,000 price range to, let's say, a Corolla. Or let's not even say a Corolla, let's say a Camry. Let's go up to the $40,000, $50,000 range. So we're saying, okay, we're going to save about 20 grand if we buy a Camry, but we're going to have to spend gas. Average Camry consumes, I think it was a little under, I think it was $2,000 or $3,000 a year in gas. not including insurance. Insurance on Teslas is very expensive because they don't have a lot of aftermarket parts. So when they get hit, a lot of times they get totaled because, to do certain repairs is not like a traditional car. We can cut off different sections of the unibody and put them in place. And when you smack one thing, it's not that big of a deal. We can get another motor. With electric car, it's much, much more expensive if you have any type of major collision or any type of issue. And it has to be done 100% correctly, because if not, your car could catch fire or have some sort of major charging issue. So your insurance is usually a lot more expensive on a electric car than it is on a regular car. So that's something else to consider. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking, oh, well, the maintenance is cheap because I don't have to worry about oil changes and stuff like that. My Audi, I think I have to go 10,000 miles with an oil change, and I drive the hell out of my car. And I think I've gotten only one oil change in the last 4 months. So it's not too bad. I think I paid $300 at the Audi dealership. If you have a regular car, I'm guessing it's probably going to be $40 to $50. So it's not that big of a deal. But one of the things I want to bring up is, 3-4 years from now, you're going to save money here and there a little bit. But I'm sure you guys have seen in some of the news sites that a lot of people that have these first generation electric cars and a lot of these hybrids and some of these other Teslas are having major issues when it comes to replacing their batteries. A lot of the manufacturers are not standing by with what they said. They said they were going to honor it or give some sort of a warranty or be able to switch a certain amount of cells so they don't have to replace the battery. And now you're getting these previous Tesla owners with under 100,000 miles, but just because their car battery is only charging about 60%, they want to replace the whole thing. And now you're looking at $10,000, $20,000 just to replace the batteries. So even if you factor that cost on top of the car you paid more for, you're paying less in gas, but then you have this massive $10,000 to $20,000 bill when you come to replace your battery. It's very daunting. Now, I worked at Ford for a little bit, and during this time, we had a lot of the Ford Escape hybrids. Now, those things, I'll be honest with you, are absolute pieces of crap. Don't ever buy one. But the first generation we had, it was just, we were changing batteries out every year. These batteries are supposed to be 3-5 year shelf lives, and they were only giving about a year. People would spend all day charging them sometimes or driving around, and then they would get low voltage. They would throw a check engine light. The car would go into limp mode. Even with this Nissan Leaf that I got, it's supposed to have 78 miles of range. I plug it in, I let it charge for like 6 hours. It says it's 100%. I drive it maybe 25 miles, and it's already showing it like at 50%. So the battery is probably about 60% of what it used to be, which is not too bad for 2013. But the fact still stands is that every time we drive these cars, little by little, those battery cells start to die. Now, I know that some of the newer cars are talking about making, I don't know if it's called monocell or individual cells. So this way, if you have issues with, battery not charging completely, they can go in and individually test cells and replace those individual ones. I know a lot of the Fords are doing it, some of the Toyotas, the Chevys, and everything else. I'm not sure if Tesla's doing it. They said they were, but I'll be honest, I don't really do a whole lot of research on some of the Teslas. So if you can't tell. But if you do know, please put it in the comment section below. I'd love to know if they're actually going that process. But, not to bash too much on electric cars, like I said, they are an amazing feat of technology. Something that I actually want to give Tesla kudos for is they've been spending so much money on the self-driving aspect, and they're about 5 to 7 years ahead of anybody else. Now, believe it or not, Ford and Toyota and Hyundai both have battery packs that can go 610 miles on a single charge. So they're already going to crush Tesla when it comes to batteries. Everybody kept saying that Tesla had the best battery technology. I think these small independent companies, these big franchise companies are actually going to crush when it comes to the mileage. I don't know how long it's going to be before these battery packs come out. I'm guessing in the next 3 to 5 years when they're a little bit more affordable. But 610 miles, that's a great range. One of the reasons why I personally will never get an electric car is because I like to drive. I like to go to like LA from Vegas. That's 2.5 to 4 hours, depending on how fast you drive. And when you get stuck in traffic there, you could turn off your engine, you could, stop at another next gas station, fill up. But I couldn't imagine getting stuck on the 15 when you got like 20% left in battery and there's nothing you can do. You're just absolutely stuck there. And then even when your car dies, you know, it's not like you can just go get a gallon of gas, pick it up and pour it in there. No, you're screwed. You have to get your car towed, or I can't remember, there's an emergency setting in some cars where you can go very last 5% of voltage to try to get you out of whatever situation you're at. So that's one of the things that if you were considering an electric car, if you're doing like out-of-state trips, anything else like that, factor in, you know, maybe a once every 3 months where you're going to rent a car to go out of town. That's something else to factor. But like I said, it completely depends on you. I think EV vehicles are the future. It's just something we have to accept. You know, I know that now that the big manufacturers are coming out, they're going to be putting more and more stuff out there that's going to speed out the technology. Like I said, necessity is the mother of all invention. And now that gas is almost $7, actually I think it's $7 in some, over $7 in some places, it's going to make more and more people actually want to sell now and buy electric cars. Now, during this weekend on our auction site, we had a handful of Teslas, all of them sold. We've been buying more and more trucks this week than I think we ever have before because of this reason. I think people are starting to freak out. In California, like I said, we really need people in the Los Angeles, San Diego area, Sacramento, San Francisco, you know, the Bay Area. Call me, message me. My information is down in the description below. Our email at lucky@automotivelife.com. You can go to My Vehicle Value, go to Jobs, and click on there. We need buyers in this area. We got tons and tons of leads that we need to have send people out there to do that. Now, I'm actually going to be going out there next week, hopefully to pick up my car. Shout out to Voodoo. Please let my IRA be done. But when I go out there, I'm going to spend a week out there. We're going to do some training. We're going to buy some cars. We're going to shoot some fun videos. And we're just going to do a whole bunch of stuff. But I'm very excited for the LA market. It is absolutely huge, especially with so many people leaving California and moving to like Vegas, Colorado, Idaho, Texas. Basically, everybody's fleeing California. So there's a lot of people that are leaving their cars there, and that's why we're getting so many leads. So we need good, qualified buyers ASAP. Our office is in Santa Monica. If you're close by, definitely hit us up. Once again, check out myvehiclevalue.com. Anyways, I hope you guys are having an amazing week. If you have any questions, please put it in the comment section below. I answer every single one myself, personally. None of my staff, just me. Also, follow us on Instagram at automotive.life. And if you have any questions or if you want to book a consulting call, once again, my information is down there. If you have any questions on floor lines, banking, financing, getting your dealer's license, rental car license, whatever it is, I'm here to help you guys. I want to thank you guys so much. I think we're about only a couple hundred people away from 75,000 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing. I am truly appreciative of everything you guys have done. I promise you, like I said, I will never forget. That's why I message on every comment. But I just want to thank you guys so much again, and we'll see you next time.